Hey everybody, thanks for being here. This week we're heading to the East Coast for some of the hottest salmon fishing in the world on Lake Ontario. Brought to you by Corning Ford, Pro-Cure, Clackercraft, Yakima Bait, P-Line, Max Lure, Fishfield, Brad's Fishing, TrollingFlies.com, Olish Charters, Fishhawk Electronics, and Fish Hang Product. Now if you want to learn how to catch more fish, stay tuned. I'm Justin Wolf and this is Angler West Television. We've come to Lake Ontario, one of the Great Lakes, because it's a great place to catch king and coho salmon, especially out of the Port of Wilson, New York. We're with Captain Casey Prisco of Dirty Goose Sportfishing.
We are going to go out and smack down some Lake Ontario king salmon. We're going to show those West Coast guys exactly what the East Coast is all about with our salmon fishery. I mean, I know we stole our salmon from them, but we perfected it. So we're about to show you what Lake Ontario has to offer out of the Port of Wilson, New York. We're going to start the morning spoons up high for our fish that are up high still feeding. Going to run a couple deeper meat rigs, some divers. Fish are going to tell us where they are, high or lower. We're going to target in on either meat or spoons. Most likely it's going to be meat. As the day goes on, it's definitely going to meat. The fish are going to sink down a little bit. The sun's going to push them down, and we're going to target those deeper fish and fill up a Yeti. We're going to run a 9-rod spread or 8-rod spread. Really depends on if we're going to fish them deeper. With deeper coppers, we'll just put one deep copper on each board. If we're getting them on spoons up high, we may run 2 coppers on each board and one down the middle, which make it a 10-rod spread. Really depends what the fish tell us. This is a planer board. It's a Big John Otter boat. We run a 2-keel system, so it pulls a little truer to the side. These are Amish Outfitter clips, and what we're going to do is run our coppers off our planer boards out to the sides to get a bigger spread.
We're dropping a copper rig, so you'll see on the reel there, it says 300, so there's 300 feet of stranded copper lying on here. Case, where's that going to put me?
Roughly 66 feet, depending on your speed and temperature of the water.
And it's going to be 350 feet back. So we'll call these our junk lines, and these will run out on the planer boards. So this is kind of getting out in that quiet water away from the commotion of the boat. And a lot of days, especially days, calmer days, brighter days, these are going to be your most productive rods in the boat. And a lot of times they're going to take your biggest fish.
He's just saying no.
There you go. Now you got a foot back, so you got to do that about 1,200 more times. And we'll get a net underneath them. This time of the year, your kings can range anywhere from 2 pounds right on up to 24, 25 pounds. A real big spring king is upper 20s. This year we have a lot of fish around that are in that 12 to 15 pound range for spring kings. But we are seeing some 17, 18 pounders and a few 20s being caught. There's a local derby that goes on, and right now 22 pounds is winning it.
Came off. I don't know if he split the hook or the leader broke. Yeah.
So now I got stuck here standing by that 300.
What maneuver is this?
This is we're going to let him do his thing here, Cap.
Okay.
And then we're saving, see, there, see?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was where the fun starts.
Camera fish, put some Pro-Cure down there, Pro-Cure down there, and instantly. Even got a camera on there. That's how good this Pro-Cure scent is. We put a camera down just to see if we can catch a bite. Normally that's a jinx. 30 seconds, boom, we're on. Pro-Cure scent. I believe it's right here. Just put a little bit on the back of the spoon, put it down, boom. I'm not sure what these guys are doing here. Chris, you're doing so good.
So,
really proud of you.
Julia Kaplan?
Yeah. I just called him. Every year we go back to college.
Here we go. Here we go. We're double.
Triple kick.
Oh, triple. I'm sorry. I forgot that Trevor's been fighting that fish for an hour. Really nursing
waiting
it.
for you to turn
Reel
it
down
around.
again, Chris. Lift up nice and easy.
Yeah, but me,
Nice work,
I
guys.
just drug him through the spread to fire everything up. Casey. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a planned thing.
Anybody want to fight this one? Because I don't. There you go, pal. That was on the base spoon, so he ate it.
That was on the bottom spoon?
Yeah.
Fish on.
The fish really cooperate for us.
They got a lot going on in this boat, that's for sure.
Camera,
9 rods out.
Camera down.
Definitely a lot going on.
Ah! You pull them off, Trevor?
No.
Okay, just side. Nope, go that side with him. Nope. Grab.
What do you want?
Hang on, get over here. Go on. Down the river. Yeah, see what you walk back like that? You lost control of your fish, it comes over here, bad news. But that's all right, because we're gonna help you here, Trev. Go ahead, Flags.
I think it was unclear.
I don't think.
I think it was unclear instructions.
No,
What do you think, Steve?
I think I've told you numerous times, don't walk to the back of the boat.
That's a pretty good fish.
In the back. That's a nice fish. We got another one coming right here. Wax ready? Yep. You got a net free or no?
Yep.
Walk back, bud. Nice work, guys. Nice work. Successful triple.
A stone's throw from Buffalo, New York, and just across the pond from Toronto, the small, quiet town of Wilson, New York is well known as the salmon capital of the region. The close-by Niagara River provides the current, structure, and nutrients to collect bait fish and therefore salmon throughout the spring and summer. Today, Steve Lynch from Pro-Cure is fishing with Trevor Sumption and Chris Larsen of Fishhawk Electronics, who have just put a triple in the boat.
That's the problem with the copperfish, is they're usually the bigger fish.
That is true. Nothing in life comes easy, you know what I mean? If you really want something nice, you got to work for it, Trevor. You know about this.
That's the thing. When you go fishing with Casey, you also get life lessons.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's inspirational. It's like going to church.
Motivation. I mean, who's got it better than us? Look what we get to do every day.
So what makes this fishery so good? I mean, why is it expanding the way it has?
You know, as far as put and take fisheries go, I mean, this has to be like the gold shining star of that type of fishery. So between kind of the public-private public and private partnerships out there, you know, a lot of the steelhead salmon clubs, they'll have net pen projects, you know, that'll go into specific ports. So it's purely, you know, there is some natural reproduction in all the lakes, but it's primarily a put and take fishery that anglers create for themselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a $1 billion some dollar. I mean, I don't know the actual number. It's a crazy number. I mean, you get, you know, the captains and the lodging, and I mean, it created something when there was nothing here. So it just created this huge opportunity for a lot of these port communities when there was nothing here.
If you're fishing for salmon, this is a must. Fishhawk. This is going to tell us our depth of our downrigger. This is going to tell us our speed down there. As you can see, our surface speed's 2.1 or 2.0, 1.9. But our actual down speed is actually faster right now. There's currents. So to get your bait presented to the fish properly, this is the #1 tool you need on a boat. A lot of days it doesn't match up, and without this, you're fishing blind. You really are. Our fish like our speed anywhere from 2.3 to 2.7, depending on what we're fishing. Meat's a little slower. Spoons will be a little bit faster. Flasher flies later in the season can be faster or slower, depending on your lead length. But it really all depends on this Fishhawk. This is our #1 tool when we're out here. You can have great electronics and you can see the fish, but if you're not presenting your bait proper, you're wasting your time. Get a Fishhawk.
So we're in the middle of a lake, so where's the current come from?
Our Niagara River, which is about 11 miles, 12 miles down here, is our biggest inflow. And that comes out, and the natural current in this lake comes from the west to the east. So when we're trolling out here, if we're going west towards the river, we got to slow down a little bit because we almost like you guys have a tide out there.
Yeah.
It affects our presentation. So we could be doing the same surface speed temp, but down low we're flying. So we slow down. Our Fishhawk tells us slow down. So we have to chug almost, go slow it down, going east, coming west with the tide, like you guys would have. We speed up a little bit to get the right presentation. Without having a Fishhawk, you wouldn't see that. You would think your stuff's fishing the same. So it speeds up against the current, slows down going with the current. So the Fishhawk allows you to take away that learning curve and match the speed to your presentation so that you're fishing the whole entire time instead of wasting time. A lot of times you'll see you're getting in one direction, not the other. Well, there's a reason why.
Sure.
Your bait don't look right. And now with the Fishhawk, when you have that on, you can see your depth and your speed, and you can see, like, if you're going with the current, my riggers will actually go deeper because they're getting pushed. Yeah. When I'm going into the current, they get pulled up. Yeah. So now you're fishing a different depth. This Fishhawk with the depth tells you right where you're at. So when I turn, We were just at 110 feet. Now I turned into the current a little bit here. It starts bringing them up. When I turn back to go east, it'll bring them down so I can adjust them to stay in the fish kill zone. You know, the lake is kind of like the ocean. We don't have a tide necessarily, but we get a lot of, especially during the summer months, once we get warm water, we get a lot of current. You get a different wind here, the water gets pushed around, so any type of wind will move the warm water, and it pushes cold water underneath it. And then what happens is it wants to come back. So when that's coming back, what you're seeing is the currents. And a lot of days, the lake can be churned up and moving. There'd be days down speed, it'd be 2.2, you're going 1 mile an hour up top, or just the opposite. You need to do 4 mile an hour to get speed because the current's rushing back to get that water back where it wants to be, and without a fish hawk.
So you just mount that on your downrigger ball?
Yep. And the rest of it's pretty simple. You run a wire up to the head unit. The head unit's a simple, easy, clear reading display. And there's 2 different head units. There's also, if you didn't want to go and get a transducer like that, there is a different system. I believe it's X2. The multi, and that goes on your line. There's also a Fishhawk TD. It's a device that can clip onto the line, and it'll give you your depth. As you leave it out there, you reel it in, it tells you where your line was. Fishhawk's really gone above and beyond to figure out how to figure out where you're fishing, and that's key, being consistent. You know, if you just have a line out there and you don't know where it's at, how do you match it? You don't. You know, anything in life, the more consistent you are, the better your results.
Welcome back to Lake Ontario. I'm Justin Wolf. The action is fast and furious, which is nothing new to the locals. This morning, we could catch coho salmon, but it's the king or Chinook salmon that are thick in numbers and on the bite. These salmon were first introduced into Lake Michigan from Oregon back in 1967, and then to Lake Ontario. Through aggressive hatchery and pen projects, Great Lake salmon fishing quickly grew into a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're aboard the Extra Dirty, one of 3 boats owned by Captain Casey of Dirty Goose Sportfishing. The key to fishing this area is understanding the current flows, which dictate the action of the bait and spoons, and that's why the Fishhawk is used by so many Great Lakes captains.
I'm at 240 right now, but grabbed the rod at 300 and he pulled it out to 530. So we've got over half of it back.
He's on the cheater. Get tight with him. He ripped that right the fuck off the hog wild fish. Nice and easy. I know what you got. A lake trout. A little trout action, man. You can come right here. See the spot. Hold on, we're shaking, no pull. There you go. No seals here, remember?
Yeah, see,
right.
That's a hard one for me to get rid of.
I understand. One more time. Now walk back. That's our lake trout here. You ever catch one of them?
Not here. I get them in Alaska. We got them, get them in Oregon.
Yep. There's 3 strains of these lake trout. There's ones that lay on the bottom, there's suspenders, and then there's like the subsurface one. This guy just hit a spoon about 20 feet down. He's one of those different strains. Here at Dirty Goose, our main priority is making sure our clients are comfortable while fishing. Sometimes we have to do things we're not comfortable with. Reel, Chris? Reel right to that diver, bud. Keep reeling.
So this is the Canon Optimum Series downrigger, and we co-developed this product with Canon a few years ago. Obviously they did the downrigger side of it, but what you can see on here is you can see all of your Fishhawk data. And so you've got your probe depth, so the probe is 94 feet down. You've got your probe temp, so you got your down temp down there, and most importantly, you've got your probe speed for what we're doing. So the rigger's showing us we got 101 feet of line out. The probe is actually down 94 feet. That's the actual blowback. So the depth that the Fishhawk gives you is based on water pressure. So it's actually the true depth of the cannonball where it's at. And how this all works is the Fishhawk probe, it communicates with the Fishhawk display, and then via Bluetooth we communicate that to the Canon riggers. So now rather than having to crowd the helm and be gathered around the screens up there. Now anywhere we go on the back of the boat, we have access to all the data all in one spot. All right, I'll show you how we hook up the probes here. So this is the top. The paddle wheel is always down. We're going to hook that to our release on the top of the probe. Now we're going to get our weight. We're going to do our absolute best to not drop the weight into the water until it's attached. Normally we'll do this, you know, when we're at the dock or on shore. Hook that in. Here we go. Waze, you got a line ready for me? Put her in the release. We'll settle in as the kind of the cable blows back, and then you'll be able to see all that data from the depth of the probe here.
We've got more fishing to do, but first, here's your Yakima Bait Minute.
Captain Casey here from Dirty Goose Sportfishing. Going to show you how we run our spinning glows here for lake trout on Lake Ontario. These are, I believe, are double aughts. We do use a lot of single aughts. Some of our hot colors here, we pair them up with an atomic coho fly. So pretty much what we're going to do here on Lake Ontario is pair these up with a set of hammerhead cowbells. We run 2 8mm beads, our coho fly, which you can see has been chewed up pretty good. About a 26 to 28 inch lead behind some hammerhead cowbells. These are size 5. This is a deadly combo here on Lake Ontario. If I wanted to target a little bit bigger fish, like you see these bigger double aught ones, what I'll end up doing is running the same setup. And often I'll actually take care of and get rid of this smaller fly, and I'll put a full-size body atomic 3-inch fly, and I'll run a couple beads underneath that with a treble hook, and I seem to get a little bit bigger fish on that. Deadly combination here on Lake Ontario. If you're looking for a great product that lasts, these if they don't bust off, even when they do, they float, so you can actually go back and get them sometimes. They will put a lot of lake trout in your boat.
We're heading back to Lake Ontario, but first, here's your fish field tackle connection. Now, if you're trolling without line counter reels, you're really missing the boat. And Fishfield's got an incredible selection of great line counters from all sorts of companies, including the Shimano's similar to the ones you're seeing used today. And also, Fishfield stocks the Fishhawk TD, this incredible little device that you've seen so many times on the show. Now, let's go back to Lake Ontario and catch some more salmon.
You get that plume of water coming out of the Niagara. You're looking for the kind of that transition between green and blue water. Got it? So you'll see that greener water coming out of the river, and then you'll see some of the sticks and stuff that washes out of it. He didn't like you, Casey.
More double.
Another one.
Who's up, guys?
Go right under. Start on this side. Yeah, I got it.
The difference, instead of pulling on the rod, pull down to it. There we go. Pretty work. Good job. Pretty work, guys. Pretty work.
I'm good.
Out here for Fishing Kings, you're allowed 3 salmon per angler. An Atlantic salmon, you're allowed 1 extra if you do get one of them. They're kind of a unicorn fish. We don't see a lot of them that are legal, or even a lot to start with. And you're allowed 2 lake trout per angler. So really you could have 5 fish per angler, or 6 if you get that unicorn fish. Brown trout and steelhead count into the mix of the silver fish. So you're allowed 3 combined silver. Would be a king, a coho, a brown trout, or a steelhead. And then 2 lake trout and an Atlantic. Let's see if Trevor's got a good one here. Go this side with him, Trevor. This side, easy. Reel down again. Nice, easy. Hang on. Walk back slow. Hold on. Keep walking back, Trev. Good fish. Nice job. So proud of you, Trevor. You know,
I followed directions.
biggest fish of the day. Good job. Tell Trevor good job.
Good job, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, dude.
This is the meat we're using. This is atomic meat. Tom Allen out of Oswego, New York. This is Pacific herring from your guys' coast that we have shipped over here. It's VHS certified for the lake. He has a laser cutter or water cutter that cuts it so it's consistent, which we've talked about before. Consistency is key. When it's consistent like that, once you get your bait head tuned, most times it's tuned. You don't have to continue to screw around with it. You can see the scales on it, the shine. And obviously we know kings are herring eaters. Yeah. And this right here is a deadly tool for on Lake Ontario or any of the Great Lakes, and probably out with you guys too.
Now, do you ever brine these?
These are brined right from Tom. I do take some and put it in Pro-Cure scent. There's a couple different colors that I'll use: green, chartreuse, sometimes natural. Really depends on the color of the water that I'm seeing when I'm going to use that bait. When the sun comes up, we find that chartreuse seems to work better. Blue once in a while, first thing in the morning. The greens can be all day long.
Sure.
What you see right here, that's a sea lamprey mark. He was on the fish here. He might have rubbed on bottom, jumped. The lamprey got back on him here, and he was lucky enough to get it off of him. They're invasive here. They get treated in the streams where they go spawn. They treat them, and it kills a lot of them, but there's no way to cure or treat every stream.
I brought that just for you, Casey.
That is awesome.
I got that this winter. I'm like, I'm gonna stick that in Casey's boat somewhere.
That is awesome. My one captain actually takes them and puts them on his tongue.
Hey, I hope you found today's episode valuable and it helps you catch more fish. And be sure to watch this episode again and hundreds of other episodes and helpful videos on the Angler West TV YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, without our sponsors, there is no show, so please thank them when you can. Now get out there and do some great fishing.